Is everybody ready? Good afternoon. I'm here to provide latest update on this case. As you know, we've spent the last several days looking for Camila. And the update that we have today is that we just recently, about 4:40, 4:45, found a body in the field nearby here. At this point, it's too early to tell if the body that we found is that of Camila, but at this point, we don't suspect foul play. As you all know, one of the possibilities that we were working under was the fear of self-harm. And at this point, there are some indicators that the body that we found may be as a result of that. Obviously the medical examiner will have to make definitive identification, and we'll have to provide cause and manner of death. But as of now, we're processing the scene, and we hope to have more information to release as soon as we're able. The area in question is probably about, I'd say, as the crow flies, about a quarter of a mile from here, and probably a few hundred yards from her actual residence. It's an area very, very close to here. This afternoon, it was the folks that found the body it was a joint team comprised of BCSO and FBI. Incidentally, the FBI has been great partners in this investigation. Up to this point, they had been really helping with intel work and processing digital evidence, but today they actually sent us basically a small army of agents that actually helped with boots on the ground work. And we actually this afternoon made a conscious decision to go back to an area that had already been checked, but due to tall grass, we felt that there would be a benefit to checking the area once again. And as I mentioned, probably about 10 minutes into that search, the body was found. And again, too early to tell who or a cause and manner, but we do have a body at this point. Any questions? Sir? During the course of the investigation, we developed some information that there may have been some suicidal ideations on Camila's part before. Some signs of depression, undiagnosed as far as we can tell, but from what's being described to us, it sounds like it was a young person going through a very tough time in their life and going through some emotional issues, and there was some indicators of suicidal ideations as well.
What kind of, any obvious injuries to the body?
No, at this point, no. I mean, I can tell you that we found a firearm very near the body. And in this particular case, we were actually looking for a firearm as well that had come up missing.
And did that firearm belong to a relative?
It was a family member's firearm, yes.
I know we didn't have any surveillance did we trace her? Do we have any more footage of that?
No, I mean, the last video we put out yesterday was a video from somebody's dash cam that had seen somebody matching the description that we had put out on social media that day. At this point, we're still not 100% that the person in that video is Camila. Although the clothing description did match, we received several different kinds of clothing description of clothing she could be wearing at the time. And so at this point, it's too early to tell if this is actually her, but we're operating on that distinct premise. The area where the body was found is very close to Camila's home, and it's quite possible that, based upon the canvassing that we did, not every house had camera footage or cameras, so it is possible that at that time of the day, on that day, she may have made it out to that area without going across any camera. So it's possible no camera footage exists, but we would still ask people on that street to double check their cameras again. Yes, sir. So I'm guessing in the next day or two they'll be able to tell us a little bit more about who the body is, and then hopefully soon thereafter cause and manner of death as well. There was a firearm missing in this case. We had not parted with that information publicly just yet, but I can tell you that there has been a firearm recovered at the scene where the body is. Missing from the home, yes.
But have you heard that firearm belonged to that relative?
The firearm that was missing did belong to a relative. The firearm that has been observed there at the crime scene, we haven't touched it yet. So we haven't gotten close enough to verify serial numbers. A young lady that we put on social media this morning, Sofia Cobos, we were actually in the process of reporting that she's been found alive and well when this call came in. So we kind of hit the stops on her. But Sofia's we're no longer looking for her. Thankfully, she's back with family and she's accounted for.
Is this early indications that it's that it could be a suicide?
Look, at this point, we were certainly operating with that in mind. There had been some concerns early on. We didn't necessarily part with all of this information in detail, but there had been some concerns of depression, suicidal ideations made on Camila's part, to where we were considering that a very real possibility. Obviously this body being found with a weapon very nearby, that's certainly, to me, the prevailing theory, but we're still going to process the scene as if it's possibly a homicide and possibly not her. But, obviously for us, we're operating with that as the main prevailing theory at this point.
How is family holding up?
I don't have much information other than we did send a joint team to the house of an agent and a deputy an investigator from the sheriff's office, and they both delivered that notification to Camila's mom a little bit ago, but I don't know what the reaction was from there. And of course, we were not able to tell her definitively this is her, because we just don't know at this point.
Was it the mounted deputies who found
at this point, I don't know if it was a mounted deputy or a deputy on foot or a deputy or a drone. We had drones overhead as well. I'll probably be receiving that update here in just a few minutes. But it was a good joint team of BCSO and FBI. And once again, the FBI has just been great at this. DPS called us earlier. Chief Vince Luciano has been great. He's been calling me all day, asking if we needed any help. I've been receiving calls from law enforcement all over, offering up assistance. But FBI came through big time for us today.
And what rate on the tough times that she was having? Do you know of anything from her phone, anything like that?
So from what I can gather, she was having a tough time with school, with work, with a relationship that had recently ended. I mean, just typical teen stuff that she had going on, and it's heartbreaking to have seen and read some of the things that we're reading, because it was pretty clear she was going through a very tough time. So, I mean, I use this as an opportunity to remind everybody out there, whether you've got kids this age or even well into adulthood, check on people and don't take anything for granted. Many times we hear, well, she was depressed, but she seemed to have gotten better all of a sudden, so everything must be okay. Well, sometimes when everything seems to be okay, it might be because they've made up their mind and they're coming to peace with the fact that they're going to end their own life. And so I don't mean to scare anybody with that, but don't always take that as a comfort and say, okay, we must be through the crisis. Definitely, if you're going through a crisis yourself, reach out and get help. If you suspect that a friend or family member is going through a tough time mentally, please get them the help that they need.
And also for people watching, you have a crisis hotline, right?
Sure, there's crisis hotlines. There's a national suicide hotline. You can always call the non-emergency number for the sheriff's office or for the SAPD. There's no shortage of numbers you can call, and absolutely people are going to be willing to come help.
And I know you choked up earlier. This is definitely a tough time, but how are you feeling?
I mean, it's tough. This is certainly not the outcome we were hoping for, right? We always hope in these situations that she's going to be fine and that she's with a boyfriend and just wanted to get away from everything and, not talk to anybody. You don't ever want any case to end like this. And although we're not yet at that point where we're ready to say that this is her, the fact is we've got a body and it's a distinct possibility.
Can you confirm the location? Was it the Burning Bush Landscaping?
It's a landscaping company very near here.
Was she wearing the same clothing that matched the description?
So we've got several different clothing descriptions that were put out that day. We got the one that was put on social media, but then somebody gave us an alternate clothing description, and the body is wearing clothing that's very similar to what was described to us. Okay. Thank y'all so much, guys.